Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We are here on LEGO Fortnite Expeditions for day 2. This game just came out, but believe it or not, I have literally played non-stop. And today we're coming at you with a full guide for the character Rift Ripper, which is my hero of choice so far as I've been playing this game mode. But let me know what you think in the comments of LEGO Fortnite Expeditions. I have been absolutely loving it, and I'll prove it to you because if I come over here to change or upgrade my class, you can see that I'm already level 22, almost level 23 with Rift Ripper. Not only that, if we come over here to the upgrades category, you can see my phase 1 is fully complete, and I'm on my way to fully completing phase 2 as well. So I have a great understanding of how to play this hero, and I mean, I have literally been doing it non-stop. I streamed for 6 hours yesterday, and then I also played a ton off of camera. So if you're at all interested in this game mode or finding out how to play Rift Ripper in the best way possible, I'm going to be taking you through every single ability. I'm also going to take you through general tips I've learned as I've been playing this game all day. Later in this video, you'll also be seeing me spin the wheel for gadgets to see what I can get with my max essence, because I have 10,000 essence for this video. I've literally been saving up for the moment, so I'm so excited to do that, as well as everything else in today's video. Be sure to drop a like, and if you're new to the channel or you're loving LEGO Fortnite Expeditions, be sure to drop a comment down below. But with all that being said, we've got a lot to get into in this Rift Ripper guide, so let's get into it. Now, what I will say is after playing for quite a bit yesterday, one of my favorite parts about Expeditions is the fact that you can really get dialed with your abilities. You can chain together different abilities. You can chain together movements like this. You can teleport all around the map with Rift Ripper, and you can basically just avoid enemy attacks while dealing a ton of damage all of the time. Now, stay tuned to the channel because I'll be doing the same exact thing that I'm doing today with Rift Ripper with the other 2 hero classes, obviously being the Hunter and the Shadow Caller. But Rift Ripper was just calling to me right off the bat, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. As you can see in my inventory, we have double plasma pistols in rare rarity. On top of that, they obviously also have 3 rune slots each. I have a few rare daggers here that I've been messing with as well, but for the most part, I've loved these dual plasma pistols. And my first tip and trick is not even associated with only Rift Ripper. You can do this with any class, and basically, if you don't know, if you have dual pistols twice, you can go ahead and swap between them to eliminate the cooldown, because if you normally shoot, you have to wait a sec before it's ready to shoot again like this. They overheat, and honestly, it's kind of annoying. But what you can do to completely eliminate the overheating is just swap to your other set of pistols if you have 2 in your inventory. So for instance, if I shoot this and it overheats, I can immediately swap to another one, scope in, and do it again. And that's just going to lead to 0 cooldowns, and you can just absolutely do so much damage with this method. So I'd highly recommend this. This is basically what I've been doing non-stop since I've been playing this game. And if you haven't tested it out yet, just make sure you have your swap weapon on a comfortable button or keybind, and yeah, you'll be able to just rip through enemies like this. You'll see me do that throughout the video today, so if you're wondering how, that's how. Another general gameplay tip that I actually can't do since I have max essence like I showed you in the intro is that you can go ahead and recycle any of your weapons or gadgets here, and they'll actually give you more essence back for them. That's really helpful because early on, I was just throwing everything on the floor, and then random people would come up and steal them. And now I understand why. It's because, yeah, you should not be throwing these on the floor if you don't have max essence. But like I said, since I already do have max essence, I'm just going to go ahead and drop all of this so we can clear out my inventory for the rest of this video. Because later in this video, like I said, we're going to be doing max rolls with all of the essence I have to see if we can get any super rare weapons or gadgets. Stay tuned for that. And as you can see, look at these guys. They're literally grabbing all my stuff to recycle it. I'll let them have it. But yeah, like I said, it's time to get into the Rift Ripper part of this video because there is so much to talk about. Starting with our 2 abilities that really never have to regenerate, and that's going to be our Rift Jump, which is basically a double jump, and then our Rift Dodge, which will send us way far and take us invisible for a split second. So you can basically dismiss from any fight you ever want to, or you can just travel around the map a lot faster. Now, if you're familiar with playing LEGO Fortnite Odyssey, you'll know your Rift Dodge key is basically the same key that makes you dodge in game, but in Odyssey, obviously, it's just a little tumble animation you do. But yeah, press that same button with Rift Ripper, and you can go ahead and send yourself away from enemies and completely disappear. Now, what you'll notice is if I just press it normally, I don't go that far. You get a little tiny boost, and you obviously turn invisible. That's decent, but what I've learned is that if you do it while sprinting, you get sent so much further. And to demonstrate this, we're going to start at the end of this track, and I'll dodge right here. So if I do the normal dodge, you'll see that I basically get to this point, which I'll go ahead and just mark. So there we are. That's what you get if you just dodge normally. But if you sprint dodge, you go basically double the distance. Honestly, over double the distance. That's where you go if you don't sprint, and this is where you go if you sprint. So yeah, if you sprint and then dodge, you get sent so far, and you can do this in absolutely any direction you want. And this has been something that I've been doing non-stop for transportation. And like I said, you can also chain it together with double jumps, and you could just go in the air forever. You honestly feel like Shadow Caller the way you can kind of just fly around with this character. So yeah, it's super fun, and I love these abilities since you don't have to ever recharge them. Don't you worry, we're gonna get in and show you guys how to use these in missions as well, but I kind of want to give you a brief rundown while we're in this controlled environment while we don't have a ton of enemies just running after us. So yeah, those are our 2 free abilities, the ones that we can use basically basically non-stop. But on top of that, we have 2 active abilities and an ultimate to talk about as well. So the first one we got to talk about are the Rift Shards. And these are pretty simple. Hurl shards, damaging enemies. I think of these as kind of like ninja blades. And all you got to do is look in the general direction of an enemy, press the button, and it'll just throw out 3 blades that'll do a ton of damage. I believe it'll also kind of track enemies in game. I'm not sure if they'll track these dummies. It doesn't look like they will. But not much to talk about there. Just press that ability and yeah, the blades will kind of just go after whatever enemies nearest by. The next active ability we've got is Rift Crystal. Summon a Rift Crystal to immediately damage enemies and enhance your powers while it lasts. This basically gives you a buff within the bubble. So when you press this and hold it, it'll go ahead and do that. It launches up this nice little force field. And when it does that, it'll damage any enemy within the force field. And then it also buffs every single weapon you have. So make sure you're taking advantage of any damage you can do while you're standing inside of this. I love using this one when there's tons of enemies around because it does that blast shockwave effect. And it's also great to use against any final boss, whether it's core, Spire, or anything else. And then of course, lastly, we have our ultimate ability. So when you use this, it'll basically do the exact same thing that this Rift Shockwave does when you launch it. The only difference is you don't have to stand inside of the bubble. It'll give you more speed. I'm pretty sure you're able to shoot a bit faster. You do more damage. As you sprint and slide around, you could just literally go so fast. Like there's literally no way you can get hit if you're in this thing and you're just continuously dashing around. Like it's insane, this ultimate. And it basically just buffs your character to a whole nother level. Anyway, that's enough of this lobby. I want to get into game and kind of demonstrate how you could use these abilities in a more practical way. Because let's be real, most of the time you're not standing here in the field shooting a bunch of dummies that are sitting there. And honestly, I feel confident enough at this point with my max level Rift Ripper to go ahead and solo an expert mode challenge. But before we do that, let's go ahead and just jump into Utopia City so we can do something a little more calm and peaceful. And here we go. In case you're new and you don't understand how these missions work, when you spawn in on the top right, you'll see exactly what your objective is. The comm relays mission is honestly one of the easier ones because you can basically just find them, run up and hold them. You'll see a beacon in the air and that's where the objective will be. But if you don't see the beacon, you can also go to the map and you'll see an icon. But yeah, let's go ahead and do this. I'll show you this force field ability because when you press it, it literally at this point eliminates almost every enemy. And whichever one it doesn't, you can go ahead and just use your blasters to get rid of. This comm objective, all you got to do is run up to this and press and hold. There's going to be 5 of them. So you can just kind of go around in this general area and you'll find them. Outside of the force field though, we also have our Rift Blades and showing you how to use these in game. If you just go ahead and press it, you'll see that it does a ton of damage, about 116 for mine. Your mileage may vary, but it's going to do good damage and it's going to track your enemies without you really even having to do much, which is very nice. And right here is a good example of when you could use your Rift Crystal. If you have an objective like this, if you just simply hold, it'll just eliminate everybody within radius. And then you can go ahead and just set up comms like this. It also obviously helps if you have a teammate distracting them. But there we go. Comm relays was super easy. Next, we got to deploy a field generator again. If you kind of just look up in the air, you might be able to find a beacon. And yep, here is the beacon right here. Usually the comm generator is in the middle of the map. Don't quote me on that, but I found it here a lot of the time. Either way though, this is getting a bit intense. My teammates are going down and I think it is time to use my ult. So when I use it, you can see that it does that blast radius yet again. Not only that though, I'm going to do so much more damage. I'm going to be able to move faster. And as you can see, the whole entire time I'm doing this, I'm also using the sprint dodge. So I never stand in one spot. That's definitely really helpful when it comes to not taking damage, especially from things like these crawlers that are shooting plasma balls or the rollers that are using these little trail effects because you can just dodge through them. So I'd highly recommend using all of your powers to the best of your ability at all times because it'll definitely help you outside of the normal combat. Anyway, for this field generator objective, all you got to do is stand within this little circle here. You need 100 seconds within the zone and then it'll go ahead and complete that mission for you. And yeah, just take note of kind of what I'm doing with Rift Ripper as I'm just kind of double jumping and dashing around. You should never stand too still in this game mode since there are so many enemies at any given time. You could just take so much damage if you're not aware of that. And yeah, just like that, we have complete our second objective, which is deploying the field generator. And one thing I didn't mention is after every single objective in any mission, you're going to get that golden reward chest. It's a tier 1 chest and it's going to give you a decent weapon and it'll probably give you some gadgets as well. And yeah, speaking of, I'm pretty sure I forgot about the first chest over here, so let's go get that as well. It also gives you good essence, but like I said, I have stacked up 10,000. And honestly, after this game, we're going to go ahead and get through all 10,000 so I can empty it out. Anyway, there's only one more mission in this one, and it's going to be to defeat the Titan. Keep in mind, these missions are not the same every single time, so you could play Utopia City and get completely different missions than I did. But it looks like the Titan is going to be right down this way, so let's go ahead and just take him out. There's only 3 sets of missions, so this is our final boss this time around. So again, we got to make sure we're fully locked in here. If you shoot his chest, you'll actually do critical damage. It's not a headshot with this Titan. It's going to be shooting him down in the chest area. You just saw there, I literally dodged his laser beam by simply dashing. Dashing never even really has to recharge, so there's no reason not to use it. Rift Ripper is incredible for that reason, and honestly, I'm so glad I picked Rift Ripper first because I have fallen in love with this game mode, and Rift Ripper might be part of the reason why. One more ability that I have not yet talked about is going to be your secondary attack with the pistol, and as you can see, it's basically a flint knock that'll keep you up in the air. You can launch yourself in any direction, so I just dodged the laser attack yet again by using the secondary fire. But you can launch yourself in the air like this. You can do honestly whatever you want with it. It's just another movement buff that you can use to avoid any attacks you want. But we're already getting way down on Titan's damage here, so let's go ahead and use our Rift Crystal here. We'll buff our damage so that as we're standing inside of here, we're dealing more damage to our final boss, and just like that, we already took out the Titan. That was a little bit too easy. And once you defeat the final boss, the enemies around him will eventually just kind of disappear like that. I don't even think I eliminated him. I think he literally disappeared. But there you have it. That is how you complete an entire mission very, very simply inside of LEGO Fortnite Expeditions. I would recommend grabbing all of these extra tools that are here. That way, like I said, you can end up recycling them for more essence. And yeah, that's basically it. Once you defeat them, you have 30 seconds to run around, grab any essence or drops that you want to. Here's our little stats card. Honestly, nothing too special. We get hero XP, essence, skill points, and intel. And then it'll give you a little rundown on the stats. But let's get on out of here. Anyway, it's the time you've all been waiting for. I'm getting rid of everything inside of my inventory except for my rares. That way we know exactly what pops up, since when you go ahead and talk to our weapon vendors, they actually don't tell you exactly what you get. You just have to check your inventory afterwards. So as you can see, we have an empty inventory, and we're going to spend 10,000 essence on weapons right now to see what we can get. We're going to start with some plasma pistols, and we are wasting absolutely no time. We'll do that. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and do a few warhammers because why not? We got to see what we can acquire here. We'll do one set of dual daggers, even though I already have rares. And then we're going to get some gadgets as well. These are expensive. They're 900 every single roll. So I don't know how I feel about those. I'm kind of just using gadgets that I get off the floor right now. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you go through 10,000 essence very quickly. We're going to open our inventory now and see what we get. Please tell me we got something good here for the moment of truth. Okay. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that's not great. We really didn't get anything at all. Wow. This health gadget is good. I mean, it gives you increased health by 30, which is actually the same one that I'm using right now. I can actually come back and pick these up. I'm going to recycle them so we can get more essence now. I wouldn't say that these are the worst things in the world if you're not that far progressed. I mean, for instance, this thing right here has 2 runes on it that are a level 3 enchantment, critical hit, and ultimate cooldown. So that'll actually help you out quite a bit. Not the greatest for me, obviously, since I already have rare tools, but your mileage may vary and it might help you out. But yeah, like I said, we just wasted all of our essence and we really didn't get much, unfortunately. What I will say is it's been very, very hard to roll here and try to get some rare weapons and gadgets. I haven't seen any rare gadgets. Both of these rare pistols, in case you were curious, I actually acquired by picking them up in expert missions. These 3 sets of daggers were actually acquired different ways, though. If you open up your yearbook, you'll see that you can do a bunch of different challenges with these NPCs around this area. One of them actually gave me a rare weapon chest that gave me metal daggers. One I actually got from a chest in game, and then one I got from a drop in game, in case you were curious about those. Anyway, now that we've basically done a rundown of every single ability, kind of the gadgets and weapons, I think it's time to try to do an expert mission. Drop a like on the video because I'm gonna need some luck for this, but we're gonna go ahead and start mission and see if we can just handle it. I don't know if we're gonna get any random people joining us on this mission because usually when I queue into these expert ones, nobody shows up. But we are here, and yeah, we're here by ourselves. Okay, here we go. We gotta lock in. Again, we got Utopia City, and our first objective is to defeat Core. Again, you can kind of look up in the air for this, but I usually use my map, and when we check it out, we could see that Core is right over this way. So we got 40 minutes, and sometimes it actually takes quite a long time to do these. We also see some spires in the middle there. I believe that'll probably be our last objective. We'll get there when we get there. For now, though, we got to go ahead and take on Core. So Core is interesting because she holds dual blasters, and she kind of just jumps and flies around. Yeah, we're going to waste no time using our ult here because we need to do as much damage as we possibly can. And as you can see, using this dual wield and zooming in with it is definitely helpful because you're going to do a ton of damage there. And Core is just going to jump from spot to spot, and as she lands, you're just going to want to beam as much as you possibly can. Unfortunately, my weapons right now are completely jammed. That kind of happens. I think it's a glitch, but as I try to shoot this, oh, it actually unjammed. Okay. My weapons have been jamming a little bit, which has been very, very odd. And if they do jam, I will give you the pro tip that you should literally just drop them on the floor and pick them back up. Anyway, where the frick is Core? I don't even see her anymore. I have no idea. Where is she? Wait, where actually is she? I'm so confused. Oh, what the? She's in the water over there. Okay, I don't know if this is supposed to happen, but she's in the water and she's kind of running backwards. I have absolutely no complaints points with this, to be honest with you. There we go. We're going to use our rift crystal so we can do more damage. And we got to make sure we are not getting hit too much by these guys because we lose health so fast in this game mode. Yeah, it looks like standing under here is low-key the strategy right now because we are avoiding all of the extra enemies and we are just able to beam Core who's standing in the water. Every once in a while, an enemy will drop down, but that's not a big deal because we can just take him out like that. Inside of these expert mode missions, though, you can actually acquire drops that are rare weapons, which are really, really nice, obviously. If you do end up getting a legendary weapon, I have noticed that you will not carry it back into your lobby. The only weapons that I know you can carry back are going to be rare ones right now. I believe that's because they don't want us progressing too far on day one, and I'm sure in the future they'll go ahead and roll out legendary weapons for us to acquire a little bit easier. Either way, though, let's not die here because we just got absolutely destroyed by that roller. Oh my goodness. Taking out enemies and just beaming Core. Yeah, you definitely got to be careful, especially making sure you have heals. And one way to get heals is actually by rescuing civilians like that. They will drop you a super smoothie, which is very nice. And yeah, again, my gun is jammed, so there's a few different ways you can fix that I mentioned earlier. And one way is just by dropping them and picking them back up. Because yeah, now it's working again. There we go. Well, guys, Core jumping into the water has made things a lot easier for this section. But there's actually 3 objectives like there are in every single mission in this game. So let's go ahead and grab our chest reward because we don't want to miss out on that. Next thing we have to do is break corrupted masks, and I'm just gonna guess it's gonna be over here in this corner. And as you can see, again, we're using our dash ability with Rift Ripper because we go so fast. Let's see if we were right about this. Yep, the masks are in this corner. We knew exactly where they were because we've played this so dang much. Anyway, here we gotta lock in. There's 5 masks that we need to go ahead and break. While there's gonna be tons of these enemies chasing us around, you just gotta absolutely beam these. And again, using your dual pistols and just swapping between them is gonna be super helpful in destroying these as quick as you possibly can. We'll use our Rift Crystal. We'll boost our damage here. Oh no. Oh no. I just dashed without sprinting and I got caught in between them. That is not good. Okay. As you can see on our left side, we have 0 more lives, which means if we die again, we lose this mission. This just got a lot more intense. Let's lock in for a second. And one more shot on this mask and we should be just about good. There we go. We broke all the corrupted masks and I'm guessing the last objective will be the Spire. We'll see it in a second, and yep, it is. Let's go ahead and first off claim our reward because obviously we're gonna get our smoothies. We're gonna get some weapons and heals. There we go. We'll grab all these so we can recycle them later. And so far, so good here. The Spire is absolutely insane though, guys. If you've never fought a Spire, especially an expert, it is no easy task. So what'll happen here is that the Spire will not take damage unless it ground pounds like that. Once it does and there's gold, you can go ahead and shoot the different parts of it and it'll take a little bit of damage, but it's a very long and tedious process. Not only that though, once the Spire brings these little shards back up like it should very shortly, it's actually going to go ahead and start shooting the lasers at us. So here we go. As you can see here, it's locked onto us. If we hide behind something though, it should be just fine. And then we can go ahead and get back up and wait for it to launch down on the ground again. There we go. Okay, here we go. We just got to do as much damage as we possibly can while this is going on, all while avoiding all these enemies, by the way. Yeah, it gets very chaotic here. Again, we need to make sure we're behind something so we don't get beamed by this absolute laser. Another thing is while the laser is shooting, you could technically shoot at the eye of this guy and it could do damage as well. But that's obviously very risky because you can just get absolutely beamed along the way. So I don't know how often I'll be doing that. Okay, we avoided it. We'll go ahead and use our secondary fire there so we can get back up. We'll throw a little Rift Crystal down so we're doing more damage here to the little Spires. Oh my goodness. I got 1 hit. Wait, no freaking way. Oh yeah, by the way, every time you complete an objective, you get 1 more life. So now I have 0 lives and I actually have to lock in. That was dumb of me though. I don't know why I was standing up there. I shouldn't have been there anyway. Well, we died twice. That's not the greatest showing, but I think once again, I'm just gonna lock in and hopefully be able to do this without failing because that would be very embarrassing for the video. I'm leaving this in whether I fail or not. So yeah, wish me luck, chat. You guys get the point. Here goes nothing. All right, guys, we're about half halfway done with the Spire, and we are going through it right now. Oh my goodness, this is insane. We are killing so many of these enemies, all the while dodging this massive laser. And yeah, we're trying to take advantage of every single time these spike down by just hitting them as many times as possible. I'm realizing we can only get like 3 to 4 bursts every single time, and then we just got to be very, very careful here. Okay, wait, and they're down again. There we go. All right, we're gonna beam this one, and then we're gonna use our ult on the next round because we've been sitting on our ult for a minute now. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and ult right here, and hopefully the timing is right so we can run back up, and it should spike these things down. Yep, there we go. Go like that. We'll do as much damage as we possibly can. It's insane that there's literally bears here too. Like, what is going on, bro? Oh no. My gun's jammed. Bro, what was that? Oh my. I don't know if I've ever had to lock in this hard in my entire life. This is actually insane. Okay, when he's shooting that, I'm gonna shoot him in the eye. Oh no, I missed. Ooh, good shots there. But we're getting very close. We're hitting him in the eye. We're making sure we don't get hit by his beam. And guys, look at his health. We are getting there. It's literally taking so much time. It's actually insane. But we're so close, man. We'll shoot him in the eye one more time. There we go. And just to make sure we are fully good here, let's go ahead and ult. And hopefully he should be vulnerable one more time. He went ahead and ground pounded. So if we just beam him, come on, come on, come on. One more shot. And that's it. We did it, guys. Oh my. I've actually done this before, but it is so intense every single time. We're going to go ahead and try to take out as many of these enemies as we can right now before they disappear. And just like that, drop a like on the video because we just defeated the Spire in expert mode solo. Holy cow, that took a minute. We get our reward here, and out of this comes nothing good, really. But that's just because I've been playing so much. I already have such good loot. This is more than enough for most people, I would imagine. But W's in the chat for that. What a grind, guys. That is the Rift Ripper in its full effect. You saw me dash and dodge so many times. The double jump, the secondary fire, literally so many different abilities. As you can see here, it gave us skill points as well. Finally, we've been needing those. We also died twice, which wasn't great, but hey, we don't talk about that. But guys, we are back at the Hero Academy, and there is so much more to do, including playing with the other heroes. So subscribe for all things LEGO Fortnite Expeditions, because we're going to keep leveling up Rift Ripper all the way to phase 2. We actually can't even get to phase 3 yet. As you can see, it's really not even rolled out. That'll come in a future update, I'm sure, but for now, we got to play with Shadow Caller and the Hunter. Comment down below and let me know which hero class you've been playing. And that's been it for me today. It's been your boy Kaz, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.